Fantastic grade 5 scholars. Welcome once again to our mathematics class. I am Miss Yulita Brown Phillips. How have you been, boys and girls? I hope that you have been pushing in lots and lots of studies. Today, we will be looking at the multiplication grid. But first, before we get into the meat of the lesson, I have a riddle for you to solve. I am a two-digit number between 6 times 8 and 9 times 6. The sum of my digits is 6. What am I? Boys and girls, take a few seconds to answer that riddle. Are you ready? Let's go. The riddle says, I am a two-digit number between 6 times 8 and 9 times 6. The sum of my digits is 6. What am I? Boys and girls, what is 6 times 8? Did you say 48? Yes, you are absolutely correct. And what is 9 times 6? 54. What are the numbers found between there? 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. So, which number falls in the middle? That the sum of the digits is 6. Did you say 51? Excellent job, boys and girls. 51 is found in the middle of those two products. And when you add the 5 and 1, you will get 6. Good job. So a simple way to do day-to-day calculations is through the help of a multiplication chart or a multiplication grid. A multiplication grid simply is a table that shows the products of two numbers. Do you remember how you find the product? Yes, by multiplying, we find the product of numbers. Usually, one set of numbers is written on the left column and the other set is written at the top row. The products are listed as a rectangular array of numbers. For example, a multiplication chart of 12 can be written as, look at the example on the screen. Do you see the rows and columns? Well, today we will learn how to use the multiplication grid to solve simple multiplication problems. How do we read a multiplication chart or a multiplication grid? Now we will learn to follow some simple rules today to help us to be able to read a multiplication grid correctly. Our first step, we choose the first number from the numbers listed in the first column and the second number in the first row. Next step, we start from the first number and move towards the right. And starting from the second number, we move down the column. We move across the row and down the column, and the square where the two numbers meet gives the product. So let's look at this example. 6 times 7. Our first number in that number sentence is 6. So let's identify that 6 in the first row. Then our second number is 7. Let's identify the 7 in the first column. Now remember, rows run left to right or horizontally, and columns run top to bottom or vertically. So 6 and we move down the column, 7 and we move across the row, and the point at which those two numbers meet is the product. So let's go 6 and we come down, 7 we move across. Where did the two numbers meet, boys and girls? Yes, at 42. So the product of 6 and 7 is 42. Now, boys and girls, this is our tips and tricks segment. Do you know that we can also divide using the multiplication grid? Yes, we can. Guess why? Division is the inverse of multiplication. Multiplication is the inverse of division. Isn't that cool? That we can use the multiplication grid to do two operations? Let's see how it works. Firstly, you have to identify the second number. Remember, when we were multiplying, we identified the first number. So it's division, the opposite. So we identify the second number. We identify the second number in the number sentence in the first column. Then we move across to the first number in the number sentence. Then you move up on to the top number, and that is your answer. So let's go. What is 25 divided by 5? So let us identify our second number. The second number is 5, and we are identifying that in the first column. So we have our 5 there. The first number is 25, so we will move towards 25 from 5. We go across to the right, and there we are at our 25. Then we go up the column, and the number that we meet at the top of that column in the first row is the answer. So boys and girls, let's see if we can do it. Let's identify our first 5. Let's identify our 5 in the first column. There we have our 5 in the first column. Then we move across to the first number. And the first number in the number sentence is 25. Are you seeing that? We are at 25. So now we're moving on to finding our answer. Then we go up the column. What number is in the first row when we move up from 25? 5. So therefore, 25 divided by 5 will result in 5. Boys and girls, isn't it really nice that we can use the multiplication grid to do two things? Yes, the multiplication grid can help you to work out simple day-to-day problems. So now it is your turn to put what you would have learned into practice. But before I allow you to do that, I'll do the first one for you. I will fill in the numbers in the first column for you. Remember, we said that when we are multiplying, we identify the number in the first row. So our first number there is 1. So 1 multiplied by 1 will give us 1. So a 1 is placed under that 1. 1 multiplied by 2 will give us 2. 1 multiplied by 3 will give us 3. Do you see the pattern? Row times column will give us the answer. Let's go. Row 1, column 4. 1 multiplied by 4 will give us 4. Row 1, column 5. 1 multiplied by 5 will give us 5. Row 1, column 6. 1 multiplied by 6 will give us 6. So boys and girls, do you notice that there is a pattern going on there under the column of 1? You're counting in singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is your turn now. Remember, you are starting row, then column. So your first number would be 2 times 1. Boys and girls, take 2 minutes and get that done quickly. You should be finished by now. Let's check our answers. These are the answers you should have. Let's start from 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. What do you notice, boys and girls? Yes, we are counting in 2s. A multiplication grid also helps us to identify patterns, number patterns. Next column, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. We're counting in 3s. Do you see that pattern? The number is increasing by 3. Next column, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. The number is increasing by 4. The 4 times tables. Final column, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5 times tables. The numbers are increasing by 5. Boys and girls, if you also look at the rows, you will also see the same number pattern. So boys and girls, this has brought us to the end of today's lesson. However, before we bring the curtains down, you know it's customary for us to have the problem of the day. So our problem for today is Johnny is getting a really difficult time solving this multiplication puzzle. I promised him that I will let you, my little problem solvers, assist him in no time. Boys and girls, Johnny is depending on you, and I am so proud that I can rely on you to assist Johnny. Take a minute and complete this puzzle. Johnny is depending on you, boys and girls. Let's see what you have. Let's look at the first part of the crossword puzzle. When we have puzzles like these, we move from the known to the unknown. What multiplied by 2 will give us 6? Yes, 3 multiplied by 2 will give us 6. 6 multiplied by what will give us 24? Did you say 4? 6 times 4 equals 24. So in the next row we have something times 1 equals 4. What multiplied by 1 will give us 4? 4 times 1 will give us 4. Moving along, you're working quite nicely. Let's move on to the other end of it. So let's go to the next side. We have something times 5 equals 30. What multiplied by 5 will give us 30? 6 times 5 will give us 30. So we have in the first column there, 6 times 8 equals something. 6 eighths will give us 48. So let's go to the bottom row. Something times 24 equals 48. What multiplied by 24 will give us 48? 2 times 24 equals 48. And finally, boys and girls, we have 8 times 4 equals something. 8 times 4 equals 32. Boys and girls, thank you so much for helping Johnny. I am beyond proud of you. I know that I can always depend on you to help solve the problem of the day. Boys and girls, this has brought us to the end of today's class. I want to thank you for joining us today. But I want to remind you that you are special. Never let anyone dull your sparkle. Bye, boys and girls. See you next time.